Hey man, Jeremy here, your mindset mastery, peak performance relationship authority. Claim that space. And I want to jump on real quick to talk about something, kind of a conversation I had today. Therapy versus having a roadmap. And this is not to tear apart therapy or say therapy is a bad thing, because it's not. It is one tool in your toolkit. It's one arrow in your quiver. It's one resource among many. But draw a distinction where a distinction is there to be made, and it's this. I talked with a client of mine who, he came to me struggling in his marriage, unsure of himself, wanting to be a good dad for his kids, realizing, I came from a bad situation. And what he shared with me in the intake is he had done therapy for over 10 years. And it started with, I'm a train wreck, I'm a disaster. And then it became, well, my parents are train wrecks, my parents are a disaster, to a little more time, a little more discussion. Well, my parents were dysfunctional. Yes, very egalitarian and very sterile and very everybody has room to breathe. But that doesn't tell him how to show up as a dad, or how to show up in a good way with his wife, or how to show up, with his career for himself. All it gave him was an understanding of labels and an understanding of, well, here's how this happened, and here's who's to blame, and here's what should have happened, and here's what could be possible, and that's it. Because the therapist's job isn't there to, here's the actual tools. How do you build rapport? How do I regulate myself in relation to my wife when she's in a certain place? How do I then unpack her meanings? That's not the job, right? The therapist isn't there to give you their understanding of human psychology and their ability to create impact. That's not the goal. It's to teach you how to manage or cope with whatever's going on, not resolve it, right? And that's not to shame or say that's that's a fault or a bad thing, because in their model of the world, regulating what needs to be regulated, coping with what needs to be coping, manage what needs to be managed, if their model of the world doesn't allow resolution, then all they have is, we can only manage this. We can only make this so it doesn't impact you that much, but you're always going to have this problem. It's just kind of the deal. And in my experience, no, that doesn't have to be the case. It is possible to get people to a place of resolution where there's still going to be random thoughts every now and then, but there's ways to immediately detach from that and disassociate and shift it. So you really need a roadmap. You need clear step-by-step instructions. You need guidance and training. Here's how to repattern your language. It's not a, well, this is just who I am, take it or leave it. You're allowed to be you, absolutely, and look at the way you're behaving and the way you're operating, the strategies you're using, and what's the impact it's causing, and do you like that impact, right? Empathy is a skill we can develop. There's certain brain structures that need to be there in terms of people reading and social engagement, yes, but we can enhance that. We can enhance what's there if somebody's not comfortable. I've had, in my martial arts school, I work with students that were on spectrum, and when they first came in, personality of a toaster and the affect of a toaster. Not that that's a wrong thing, they're just very even keel. And they're in a great mood, but they didn't tell their face, and they never smile. And within a year, I've got them raising and lowering their voice and changing their inflection and talking to 4-year-olds and getting the kids to listen and follow instructions. And the parents are floored because they never thought that would be possible for their kids. But it was just a matter of, we just need to understand input systems and output systems, and we just kind of calibrate and we stretch. I don't know what's possible or what's not possible until we at least monkey with it and see what we get. And because of that willingness to play, I could develop a map to get this person from where they are to where they want to be. And that's really the key. Right? Is anybody you're going to work with in the mental health space, the emotional space, the coaching space, you need to define, what do you actually want? What is the compelling future? Not if you deserve it, not if you can have it, but what do you actually want? What would light your soul on fire? What would make you super happy? Let's define that. We call that the compelling future. And once you've got that defined, okay, now where are you? And what's got you where you are? And what are the thoughts? And what are the habits? And what are the ways of self-talk? And just what are the things in your world that have got you where you are now? Because what got us here won't get us there, right? I've said this before, and I'll say it again. A chair in the kitchen to reach the top shelf, good strategy. A chair in the backyard to get on the roof, not a great tool. A ladder in the backyard to get on the roof, good strategy. A ladder in the kitchen, the holes in the roof, not a good strategy, right? It's the wrong tool for the job. Use the right tool. So ladders have a purpose, and chairs have a purpose. Right time, right place, they do beautiful things. But don't expect the chair to be the answer to everything. I know how to elevate myself. I will get in a chair. It is the answer to everything all the time, always. No, it's a tool, and it helps you get so far. And then we got to have other tools for other situations. So when I do a roadmap call, I break it into 2 parts. The first part is just, can I help you? Do you have a situation, right? Came across a guy, thought his kids had been replaced. They've been killed, they've been replaced. The people that are now, the kids that are there now, those aren't my kids. Those are clones that have been replaced. And he was hearing voices, and he's off his meds. I'm not going to touch that with a 10-foot pole. Right? That is beyond my skill set, and we're doing this virtually. I don't know his environment. I don't know his stressors. I can't in good conscience try to pretend I can help in that situation. So I'm like, dude, You know, respectfully, we ended up getting a welfare check for him and getting him the support he needs, because like he needs medication and he needs to be managed, because that is way beyond. There's some wiring that's jacked up inside that I can't touch. I can't influence that through conversation. So, you know, that's beyond my scope. That's why I do the 2 parts of the roadmap call. Is this a winnable situation? Is this within my realm of experience and expertise? Usually yes. And then, okay, let's set the second call and let's create the massive action plan. Let's figure out and let's dig into where are you, where do you want to be, what's the roadblocks, and let's like get through that. Because then once you've got a clear plan, you can action it. You can like take steps, and then we measure the process, and we measure, and you take action, and we get feedback, and we look at where we are and where we want to go. That's why we have that part up there, right? Is we know what we want to achieve. So 10 years of therapy, it's not a panacea. It's not a cure-all. What's the goal of the therapist? Is it to manage? Is it to cope? Or is it to resolve? Because resolving is rare. And dirty secret, if you're a psychologist or psychiatrist, if they actually got you into a place where you didn't need them anymore, they would lose a client. They would lose a patient. They would lose an income stream. My model is I want you to fire me and I want you to be done with me so you don't need me, because leaders create more leaders. That's my model. I want the guys I work with to understand the stuff I can do, and they can do it for themselves, and they can change the conversation. They can change the impact with their wife and with their kids and with themselves and in their career and with their fitness and just everywhere. And it doesn't take years. Like, my standard thing is 90 days. You give me basically a quarter, and we're going to shift your whole entire life. We're just going to fix a point, and we're going to pivot everything. And it starts with a 15-minute roadmap call. That's it. So, if you're going through stuff, keep going. Don't give up. Had some really cool conversations today, some really cool interviews I'm excited to get on the podcast here soon. And I want you to know you're not alone. Whatever you're going through, whatever you're dealing with, whatever you're struggling, you are not alone. There are resources and allies and assets available. I'm here to help. I'm here to serve. So, reach out. Do not suffer in silence. Do not stand alone and think you can just weather the storms. You don't need to. You have allies. You make it a fantastic day, and I'll see you when I see you.